Right, welcome back. Let's take a look at our trending topics now, and here they are. And up first, as we take a look, there we have Chad le Clos. So it's been a very proud weekend for South Africa in the pool at the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. But Chad le Clos, of course, he basically just joined the greats in terms of this particular event. So Chad le Clos making history, equaling Michael Galt and Phil Adams's Commonwealth Games medals tally of 18, and this after he reached or claimed second place in the men's 200-meter butterfly final. And there you saw it in the sports news. Such an exciting moment, and only just etched out there, but history all the same for our Chad le Clos. And as I said, it's been fantastic in the pool for South Africa. Saturday night, 2 goals. It was Lara van Niekerk as well as Peter Kutzer, and the two of them opening that medals haul. And we saw Tatiana. We knew Tatiana was going to bring the gold. Kayleen Corbett as well. It's just been absolutely fabulous. And of course, King Chad. So that's why Chad le Clos is trending. And of course, the Blitzbokke as well, doing us proud there in Birmingham. Not so great for the netball girls, and they take on Australia today. And I was a bit disappointed in their performance. They won against Barbados yesterday, and they won yesterday. They lost on Saturday against Jamaica. But of course, they're taking on Australia today, but we'll talk about netball at another stage. All right, let's move on to the next one. So Tembisa, we have been hearing the rumblings from the disgruntled community members in Tembisa about electricity being cut off, rates and taxes, and nothing has been done. Tembisa residents have been calling all sorts of radio shows. They've been flooding platforms trying to make their plight heard, and they feel as though nobody's listening to them, and this is the result. So a truck, understand, being torched overnight as well, and blocking parts of the R21, but we are told that it's a shutdown this morning. Rob Byrne also had some of that for us in our commuter news. So just keep abreast of that with Rob Byrne. He'll tell you exactly where the clogs are. The next one is Krugersdorp, and most horrific story about what happened to 8 young women and the rest of the crew. And they were out there on one of the dumps, disused mining dumps in Krugersdorp, and unfortunately, I think their greatest nightmare came to pass with 8 of these women being gang raped by between 8 and 10 men each. And this, of course, has spurred, finally, I would say, the police into action about this, because there's been so much talk about what is going on in Krugersdorp. People have been fearing for their lives. People don't speak in Krugersdorp for fear of reprisals because of how brutal these perpetrators are. I heard Minister Aaron Motsoaledi saying these are not only Basotho nationals, but there are other nationalities involved as well, foreign nationals. But the fact of the matter is, people have been trying to speak about this. Some of these areas have been no-go areas, and of West Village especially. And one has to ask, did it have to come to this? It is really heartbreaking to think that some of these young women were virgins. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that other people deserve to be raped. Do not twist my thoughts. What I'm saying is that, can you imagine what they have to put up with? They've effectively ended these women's lives. I mean, imagine being gang raped by 8 to 10 men. And this at such a young age. I don't know. If we cannot deal with this, then those who can't deal with it need to effectively step aside. But we cannot carry on like this as a country. It's too much. Hopefully we'll have Minister Bheki Cele come on just after 7. Many questions need to be answered, because again, and I want to say this, we've been talking about what's been happening in Krugersdorp. One of our very own colleagues here some months ago was hijacked in Krugersdorp, in that same area. He actually related what had happened, how on the night that he was hijacked, if you will just bear with me, he was driven around, he was blindfolded, driven around to a house, and he spoke of how many twists and turns they took, obviously to throw you off so you don't have a sense of where you are, even when you ultimately get there. And he was taken to a house, and he says when he got there, there were several other people in the house who had suffered the same fate that he had suffered that night, who had also been hijacked. And he could hear in one of the rooms what sounded like a woman being sexually assaulted. You know, we've spoken about this. I remember our senior reporter, Ntebo Mokobo, talking about what had happened here in Devland when the guards, the pick-it-up guards were killed, and spoke about situation in Krugersdorp with the Zama Zamas there and what had happened and how they had just, you know, basically closed down that area in fear because the residents don't even speak. You can go and Google Krugersdorp right now and you will see people speak anonymously because they are that scared. There was a woman who spoke at some point. This was a story that was relayed by someone that the reporter spoke to, and someone saw her. These guys saw her, and they went and proceeded to rape her in front of her husband. These are the sort of things, the criminality, the inhumane criminal element that we are dealing with. And there's no hiding from it. Something needs to be done, but I fear that we are outraged once again. But then what? Is it just going to be outrage for now until the next bad thing happens? I don't know. But that's why Krugersdorp is trending. And then the next one, I think the last one we have is Zama Zamas. And this, of course, related to the Krugersdorp incident, but not isolated to it, because it's not just in Krugersdorp. It's on the West Rand. How many times do we hear of people being attacked, bodies being found next to the road on the N12 near Etwatwa in Davidton? How many times do we hear of these stories in Krugersdorp, in Orkney, you know, in the Free State, all over? So I'm not even sure what needs to happen. But these are the trending topics this morning. Very, very depressing. And our question of the day relates to this. And let's just put it up. We're asking you this morning. So following the rape of those 8 young women in Krugersdorp, what do you make of the ANC Women's League's call for chemical castration for rapists? At Morning Live, SABC. Please let us know what your views are.